Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Frank Burruel is with us. He's the down payment assistance guru. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be here, Ron.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. It's National Dog Day. So if you are watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, the ABC News and Talk, AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, hey, let me know if you're a dog person. Put it in the chat. Yes, my dog, Lola, she goes walking with me all the time. A little Aussie doodle. We have a good time. She's a little spastic, or maybe a lot spastic. She's got way more energy than I do. They said after she's 2, she'll settle down. I'm waiting. She's 3.5. Now, if you're watching us on ABC News and Talk, you're listening to us on ABC in the afternoon, just yell at your radio. Tell us what kind of dog you have. I'll hear you. You know, yes, I know the big brother's always watching. So we will know if you're watching and listening. So just share that information. Share it in the chat with us. If you're a dog person, what your dog is, what kind of dog you have. And yes, I have beaten anorexia. So we're also celebrating National Cherry Popsicle Day. So yeah, it doesn't go with my diet, but you know, maybe my wife will get us some of those low-cal cherry popsicles. We get some chocolate ones that I kind of like, 40 calories. You know, I can eat those things and not feel any bit of guilt. Although I don't really feel guilty when I eat anyway. Although when I was 425 pounds, it probably wasn't the best thing in the world. You know, now after the one bariatric bypass surgery and, you know, these shots, they're great. I think the shots are wonderful. If you haven't tried them, you know, give it a shot. I know, no pun intended. Josh, we have that. Yes, there it is. So rsrlinks.com/shot. You can follow the journey. And yes, I have been taking them for, about 7, 8 months, 9 months now. 84 pounds and counting. So we're still working on that one. Hey, let's see what the markets are doing today. Do we want to see what the markets are doing today? Not bad. Not a whole heck of a lot. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 16.5 points. The NASDAQ is up 36. S&P 500 is up 6. Wow. Oil, we're liking this number. Oil is down once again. It's down $1.41 a barrel. Yeah, I like that. So, but now, do we want to even look at what gas prices are doing? I shouldn't look, because every time I look at the gas prices, especially here in the formerly Golden State, I get ill because we have to deal with Gavin taxes. Oh, no, we don't do taxes on gas. We don't do taxes in California anymore because we took that right away from the legislature. They have to bring it to the people to be able to tax us. So they call it a fee. That's how they bypass the Constitution of the state of California. Not that they're trying to bypass it on gerrymandering, are they? Well, that's a whole different story.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Gasoline, $4.57 right now. The national average, $3.18 a gallon. Okay, Josh, hit me with your worst shot right here. I know you're over there. What about $3.50 a gallon, $3.40 a gallon? Yeah. So even in being in the top 10, so Josh is over there in Vegas. They're in the top 10 highest priced gasoline states in the country, and they're still over $1 a gallon cheaper than we are in California. Of course, then again, Hawaii is cheaper than we are in California. You know, and I've been to Hawaii several times. The one thing I've never seen, I've seen coffee plantations, I've seen pineapple plantations, I've seen sugarcane plantations, never seen oil refineries. So my guess is they're probably cargo, they're freightering that in from California, and their prices are cheaper than ours. Okay, we can't cry about it.
It is what it is.
We do have to pay our price for living in the formerly Golden State. Yeah, what else is going on? We're watching the news. Not a whole lot of excitement in the news right now when we look at the world of finance. So, yes, we did get consumer confidence this morning. We got the FHFA numbers. We got the Case-Shiller numbers. All of that stuff coming in. But you know what I want to give you today, and I'm going to do this a little bit out of order because I have a feeling that we're going to want to speak a lot with our guest today. So we're going to do a Borrow Smart segment right now, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. What if I told you there's a way to eliminate credit card payments, boost your credit score, and increase your home buying power all at the same time? Most people never consider this strategy. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping people build wealth through strategic debt management. So I had a call with a client who's implementing what I call a strategic repositioning of their debt. Here's what they're doing. They're taking a loan against their 401k to pay off high-interest credit card debt. Now, before you say that sounds risky, let me walk you through the strategy. First, they eliminate those monthly credit card payments completely. Second, their debt-to-income ratio improves dramatically, which increases their purchasing power for a new home. Third, their FICO score is about to jump because their credit utilization drops to zero. But here's the brilliant part. They're planning to sell their current home and use part of the proceeds to pay back the 401k loan. They end up debt-free with better credit and in a stronger financial position to purchase their next home. Most people look at borrowing from their 401k as taboo. But when you understand strategic debt management, you realize it's about the household blended interest rate and cash flow impact, not just individual loans. Think about it. If you're paying 24% on credit cards, and yes, I know many people are. Yeah, that is painful. But you can borrow from your 401k at 6%. That's an immediate 18% improvement. Plus, you're paying yourself back, not a credit card company. This strategy works particularly well for people preparing to buy a home who are stuck with high credit card balances affecting their debt-to-income ratios. If this resonates with you or you'd like to explore strategic debt management for your situation, start off with a real simple 30-second loan app, rsrlinks.com/Sora, rsrlinks.com/Sora, or head over to ronsiegelradio.com and learn more about how strategy beats rate always. That's the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, who needs some help with their down payment? We're going to talk about it. Should you still expect a bidding war when buying a new house? We'll talk about that as well. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. What did rates do yesterday? Every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual lock rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They only tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to figure out what your principal and interest payment will be. What did the rates do? Yeah, well, they were mixed yesterday. Conventional 30-year fix down 6.543. Jumbo 30-year fix 6.675. That was up. FHA 30-year fix 6.314. That was down. VA 30-year fix 6.119. That was up. USDA 30-year fix 6.302. That was up. If you want our thoughts about the market, and I appreciate you tuning in each day, but we do put out a report. You can go right to our community and get that report. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. So what are the rates doing this morning? What are the markets doing this morning? The S&P 500 is up 8.11. The 10-year Treasury, pretty flat. It's down less than a basis point. And I know most people don't even understand a basis point. So just say it's flat. And we've got the mortgage bond. That's up 6 basis points. Remember, when the bond goes up, rates go down. When the rates go down, the bond's going up. I might have just said the same thing in different order. But the bottom line is they're always inverted. And 6 basis points pretty much means there's not a whole lot going on. So what is driving things? Well, last night, this one's going to be a big surprise to anybody. Last night, President Trump was on social media.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
So he's saying that he's firing Fed Governor Lisa Cook. She responded by saying he has no authority to do so. And she's not going to resign. I'll continue to carry out my duties to help the American economy as I have been doing since 2022. Well, you know something? I don't know. Let's see. Fed Governor, President of the United States. Who you putting your money on? And then you start seeing, well, the news stories coming out saying she takes out a mortgage in Michigan and saying it's her primary residence, and then takes one out in Georgia saying it's her primary residence. Now, I know someone who's been convicted and probably going to jail for mortgage fraud. So does it surprise anybody that Miss Cook has hired one of the biggest named criminal defense attorneys there is? Just throw that out there for you. So highly likely that the president will fill her vacancy with someone that's a little bit more dovish, a little more friendly to the policies that he wants. Between Fed Governor Adriana Kugler being replaced by Stephen Moran, the possibility of Fed Governor Lisa Cook being replaced by someone more dovish, and a new Fed chair that's going to replace Powell next year. His term is up, so it's not a firing or anything like that. The dynamic of the Fed is likely to be much more dovish. Dovish means friendly to rates. That brings into question if rate cuts would help longer term, like the 10-year and the 30-year fixed rate mortgages. Many are pointing to last year when Fed cut rates 50 basis points, 0.5% on September 18th, 25 basis points, 0.25% on November 7th, and 25 basis points on December 18th, only to see mortgage rates increase. Most forgot that in anticipation of the September cut, Rates were declined by 5/8, with most of the decline coming in the month prior. After the cut, mortgage rates remained stable until the massive September jobs report that was released in October and showed 254,000 jobs created. Following this was a 227,000 job report in November, 256 in December. But you gotta wait a minute. Don't get too excited right there. The QCEW released their report in the fourth quarter, and they basically came out and said that the Q3 revisions for July, August, and September job gains were overstated by 62,000 a month. That would have brought the July, August readings to under 100,000. September would have been weaker. If the Q4 revisions are also weak, which we believe they will be, it should be the case for a cut. If we continue to get job figures that are more indicative of what's going on, like we saw in the July jobs report, we believe mortgage rates will be respond better and will benefit from a rate cut. And one of my favorites, Danielle DiMartino Booth, she came out, laid out a whole line where we might even see negative jobs, so job losses for the month of August when that report comes out September 15th. Durable goods orders, which measures larger durable purchases in the U.S., fell by 2.8% in July, which was better than the 4% decline expected. But this report is heavily influenced by aircraft orders, which are extremely large and were expected to fall by more than they did. Core durable goods, which removes defense orders and aircraft, rose 1.1%, much stronger than the 0.2% expected. Additionally, the previous report was revised higher by 0.2%. And finally, we got the Case-Shiller and FHFA appreciation reports. Case-Shiller Home Price Index, which is the gold standard for appreciation, showed that home prices fell by 0.3% in June on a seasonally adjusted basis, because we are not smart enough to know what the numbers are going to do. They have to put in some imputed numbers that make us all crazy. The raw figures show that home prices actually rose 0.1%, but they adjusted it to lower because we normally see stronger appreciation growth during this time of year. Year over year, home prices rose 1.9%, which is a moderation from 2.3% in the previous report. FHFA released their house price index, which measures home prices appreciation on single-family homes with conforming loan limits. Different than Case-Shiller, it does not include cash buyers or jumbo loans. FHFA reported that home prices fell 0.2% in June. After seasonal adjustments, prices were flat on a non-seasonally adjusted basis. Year over year, home prices are up 2.6%, which is a deceleration. Clearly, home prices are cooling, but nationwide, they are still higher than they were last year. And some media are beginning to say, for the first time in a long time, appreciation is not keeping up with inflation. And we can go into that forever. And I'm not going to, because I've done it here and it bores me. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So, good to see you here, Jeff. I'm glad you are with us. Jeff Sipes, if you don't know Jeff, you need to. He's a guy who runs a great company in the credit repair space, getting your credit reports correct. And, whoa, my beautiful bride is actually watching today. Or listening today. Yeah, she doesn't do that very often. She'll usually just send me a text saying, let your guest talk. But that's a whole different story. So we're going to do that. Frank Burruel is with us. He is the down payment assistance guru, and we all get to learn together. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, and I want to learn about the down payment. One of the things that I hear, especially from young people, is, prices are difficult in California. We know that. We pay a price to live in this great state, get our climate. Where we're sitting right now, we're a half hour from the beach, an hour and a half from the mountains, an hour and a half from the Coachella Valley. Where else can you do something like that? But it's hard to afford all this stuff.
It is.
So how does a young person buy a house? I mean, down payment assistance seems like it might be the right solution.
It is. And California has one of the best programs out there.
Explain it to me a little bit.
Yeah, the main program that they offer, the state has, it's a bond program. It's the CalHFA state program, and it's one of the most accessible programs throughout the country. It's set up by the California Housing Finance Agency, and it's a leader in down payment assistance. Other states actually kind of follow along with California's program because it does so well. So there's states like Washington where we've helped set up their program in the wholesale community. And so the product in California, which I do a lot of business on, has been around for over 20 years.
So it's not like one of these that run out of money.
No, it's not. And that's a good question, because some of the municipality programs out there, sometimes you'll see that there's small groups running those programs and they'll be tight on funds and they maybe have it for a couple of weeks and then they run out of funds.
That scares you though, because as a consumer advocate, I look into something like that and I say, okay, if somebody's listening to us and they get all excited about getting down payment, like a year or two ago, we had that Dream for All program.
Right.
And, it got started, it got all kinds of media, and it ran out of money. Is the Cal HFA program going to run out of money?
Yeah, the Cal HFA program is a fully state-funded state program, and they replenish the funds with mortgage bonds, and so it's a self-sufficient program. And so they do run in some programs where they run them short-term, but the state is great about it. The state tells you up front, hey, we're going to offer a new program. Over the last probably 5 or 6 years, you've had 3 they've rolled out. They've rolled out the Dream for All, the ADU program, and the Equity Builder program. We're not going to cover that today, but those programs, you'll talk to Ron. He'll set you up and let you know when those kind of roll out. But when those do roll out, they are limited funds, and they kind of tell you and move you along that. And those are great programs, but they're limited funds, and you will jump in when you're ready. But the state on that program is really on top of it, and they'll let you know when those programs release.
So when we talk about when we come back, I want to talk about who qualifies for the Cal HFA program. That's a big issue. Who's going to qualify? How much money do you have to make, or how much money are you limited to making?
Right, yeah.
How much can you get in down payment? Do I have to pay it back? Do I have to make payments? We're going to talk about all that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Should you still expect a bidding war? If you're still worried about having to deal with a bidding war when you buy a home, you may be able to let some of that fear go. While multiple offer situations haven't disappeared entirely, they're not nearly as common as they used to be. In fact, a recent survey shows agents reported only 1 in 5, 20% nationally, received multiple offers in June 2025. That's down from nearly 1 in 3, 31% just a year ago, and dramatically lower than in June 2023, 39%. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, the ABC News and Talk, AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing a chart. The frenzy has faded. Fewer homes getting multiple offers. And you can see that chart going there. This trend means you should face less competition when you buy. That gives you more time to make decisions and the ability to negotiate price or terms. It still depends on where you're buying, of course. National trends don't tell the full story. Local dynamics matter a lot. The next chart I have for you uses survey data from John Burns Research and Consulting and Keeping Current Matters to break things down by region to prove just how true that is. It shows while the share of homes getting multiple offers has dropped pretty much everywhere, some areas are still seeing more offers than others. The Southwest, I guess that's what we would be considered here. 21% down to 11%. In the Northeast, 30% of homes, roughly 1 in 3, are still receiving multiple offers. That's more than the national average, but in the Southeast, that number drops to just 6%. What's behind the difference? In general, the area is still seeing bidding wars tend to have lower than normal inventory. That imbalance between buyers and available homes keeps pressure on prices and competition, but markets with more listings are seeing conditions cool, and that means fewer bidding wars. Sellers are more flexible than you might think. Here's another shift to show you just how much things have changed. According to Redfin report, almost half of sellers are offering concessions like covering the buyer's closing costs or dropping their asking price to get the house sold. Unbelievable how people are still doing that dumb stuff. I've told you before, go and look at the buy down program. It's far better than trying to get the price down. rsrlinks.com/buy down. rsrlinks.com/buy down. That's a clear sign that this isn't the same ultra competitive market we saw a few years ago. Back then, sellers rarely compromised, and buyers often waived their inspection or appraisal to try and make their offer stand out. Now things are different. But again, how often this is happening is going to vary based on where you're looking to buy, and that's why you need a local agent's expertise. Bottom line, if concerns about bidding wars have been holding you back, it may be time to take another look. National competition is down. In some markets, it's down significantly. And with more sellers offering concessions, buyers today have more power and flexibility than they've had in a long time. Want to find out what the market looks like in where you're buying? Give me a call. I've got reports for every zip code in the country. rsrlinks.com/market report. rsrlinks.com/market report. We've got the data. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us, text us, send us a smoke signal, any of the above, DMs, they all work. And we'll get the information you need. You can just go right there to the link, rsrlinks.com/market report. That is the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continuing our conversation, we're talking down payment assistance today with Frank Burruel. And so, Frank, let me ask you this question. During the bidding wars, did you come across issues where people could not use down payment assistance? Did it take extra time, or is that a myth?
I think it depends on the different type of program that you do. But with the CalHFA bond program, we did not run any challenges with that. I think that sometimes the agents would prefer not to use a down payment assistance program. But, nowadays with this program, it's so efficient, you can close these in 21 days. So yeah.
21 days?
Yes.
Okay. And if somebody's gone and gotten a certified pre-approval from our team,
yes.
Then you're doing some of your due diligence up front. So that makes it a more comfortable time period.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the program, basically, the program that this state offers right now is called the My Home program, and it's giving you down payment assistance. Basically, you can choose one of two options. You can choose the conventional option, and you're getting 3% funds from the state, or you can choose the government option or FHA, and then you're getting 3.5% from the state. Now, the state also offers the option to get third mortgages where you can.
Well, you're going way too fast.
You can use for closing costs. Yeah. So
too
I know
fast,
it's
Frank.
fast.
You got to slow down for me. I'm
me.
a simple guy. So if we go with a My Home program and I get a 3% conventional, so that means I've probably got a little bit better credit situation. Is that why you're going conventional instead of FHA, or why would I want to go?
Perfect. Yeah, you would usually choose the conventional option if you ended up having a little bit better credit. FHA, you can go down to the 640 FICO stuff on this product.
Okay.
So, yes.
And now if I'm getting down payment assistance on that through the My Home program, is that increasing my payment, or what are we doing there?
Those seconds are silent seconds. So they're
silent second.
So
you got to explain silent second.
Yeah. So they're going to hang on there until you refinance. And so, a lot of these transactions will be, you're getting into the home because of, limited funds maybe. But down the road, you'll reach out to Ron again, and he will get you into a good rate to refinance and pay off this stuff down the road. But it is silent; you make no payments on it, and it accrues simple interest at 1%. Some of the seconds and thirds accrue no interest. So
there's various programs. We don't want to get too specific.
Yeah, we don't want to
just
get
want
too
to
granular.
we want to get the 30,000 foot
basics.
level, and you can give us a call, and we'll give you more specifics and make sure you know everything you need to know to make the best decision for your family. So, is there a time I have to wait? I mean, if I get this down payment assistance and I go out and I think tonight the lottery is like $800 million and I win it, do I have to wait a specific amount of time to pay that back? Are there penalties or anything like that?
No, I mean, you could leave that loan on there for 30 years.
Okay.
And it can hang out there and it'll be due. But most people, we see them refinance anywhere from 3 to 5, 6, 7 years after. It's basically,
which the norm is 5.2 years anyway. So it's nothing. It's not out of the norm.
It's not out of the norm. No.
Okay. So that's a pretty simple thing. We don't get penalized if we wait that
You do
5
not.
years, and it's not like the state becomes our partner in the house. They're just going to get their money back.
Yeah.
With their interest or whatever.
Yeah, and it is a matter of funds, so to speak, because if you were a buyer and you had $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, easier to get into a home with a traditional FHA or conventional loan. When you're running into the $10,000, $20,000, $15,000, $5,000 range, these down payment assistance programs, if you're paying $4,000, $5,000 a month in rent, you're making a mistake by not getting in with a loan program like this, and paying all that money for a mortgage versus paying it for rent.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Now, if I had a house 5 years ago, can I use this, or is it only for somebody that's a first-time buyer?
Yeah. So it is for first-time home buyers. So you wouldn't want to have had owned a home in the last 3 years. Now, if you owned that home 5 years ago and then you sold it, 4 years ago or what have you, and you still haven't been renting for the last 3 years, you would be eligible to do this program as a first-time home buyer.
Okay, so it's not just there's a definition of first-time.
That's
buyer.
correct. Yeah.
Okay, and so in California, we're looking, and I think or Orange County, I think we've got like a $1.2 million median home price.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the state does a good job of kind of like matching up the income restrictions for the buyers and the properties, and we all know there's limited resources and for properties and sales prices for the new first-time home buyers and the millennials and stuff like that. But the income limits are pretty flexible. Just to give you an example, for the county of Orange County, you're looking at 270 income limit. So that's
a big number.
It's a big number. LA County's like 211, Riverside, San Bernardino 205K. So really, you shouldn't have any problems getting into a home or a condo in the 850 sales price range. So
Okay.
We do see a lot of condos if you get into the hot areas of LA or the hot areas of Orange County. But when you get out towards the Inland Empire a little bit, you will be able to get into some more single families.
So that income restriction in many instances is not much of a restriction.
It's not. It's pretty flexible. Whereas when you get into some of the municipality down payment assistance programs, they'll stick you with some, low income type of guidelines. So your only options may be a studio condo and that kind of thing.
Or somebody's garage.
Yeah. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with those programs. It's just if you want ease, and the Cal HFA bond program is awesome.
Now, it used to be that one of the things that I was against the bond program, the Cal HFA, is it always seemed like the interest rates were way higher than everything else. Is that the case?
No, I mean, like I said about funds, it is definitely a funds issue. If you have a little bit of funds, I'm saying like 10, 15,000 saved, you set yourself up to get the best rates possible for this program. If you do need the third mortgage for closing costs and such like that, you will bump your rate a little bit, but they're all market rates. Ron kind of gave you those at the beginning of the segment there, and it's just maybe a tidbit higher than those. And so it's definitely market rates. The state does a good job trying to make them accessible for you guys.
And that's a good thing. I mean, and we don't, we talk about what happened yesterday on rates. So obviously that's not available today, but it gives us an idea, because everybody's going to have their own qualifications and the like. So we don't want to really get too much into specifics on rates, but if it's going to cost me a little bit more, and I get this assistance on the down payment, it becomes, well, what's your rate on the rent, right? You're paying 100%. It's 100% gone.
That's right.
Right. So the concept here is, if you can get into something, why not own your own piece of your future?
Yeah, we all know that appreciation rates in California versus renting it's just common sense.
Well, and you look at it, because I hear people all the time saying, well, home prices, and I did it in our Mortgage Minute today, talking about the idea, okay, home prices are appreciating at like 1.9%. Okay, and I can't do the math on my head for that, but let's just say Orange County generally, historically, over 63 years, about 5.3%. Now, if you're putting down 3%, the 5% appreciation is on the 97 plus 3, right? So if you got an $800,000 property, it's appreciating at, call it $40,000 a year, and you've put down maybe $10,000. So your return on investment your return on your cash is staggering.
That's right.
Way better than what it would be if you were thinking about renting. But we're going to continue. We're going to go through some more examples here with Frank when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Since I talk too much, we're going to spend the rest of our time this morning with Frank so we can get more educated on this. Seems like a pretty interesting program to me, because I know some people who are thinking about buying houses. They weren't born into a silver spoon scenario. So they're saving some money on their own, trying to buy a new house. And, Frank, I've used this line many, many times. And it doesn't fit as well in August as it does in December, but it works anyway. So there's a lot, especially, well, maybe it does, going back to school time. I see a lot of people going back to school, back to college. And, there's folks out there that they went to mom and dad or granny and grandpa and said, hey, would you help me out? I need a new Apple computer. The old one's only 2 years old, but, the silver on the screen doesn't look quite the same as everybody else's silver on the screen. And I say, something? For granny and grandpa, why don't you help out with buying a new house instead of buying the Apple computer? And with this program, it kind of allows them to, an Apple computer is probably going to set you back about $4,000. And, I think that might help a little bit on the down payment assistance programs, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, these programs are not too complicated, and they do a good job of making it easy for the buyers. I think the crucial thing, and even if you talk to the state, they knew I was going to do the radio program. And they told me, the biggest part of this program is getting prepared. And it's just like with anything, with being a first-time home buyer, you want to do a couple things to make it easier for yourself. And you do need good partners, good real estate agents, good loan officers. So having somebody like Ron or even us to partner with you in these types of programs, it can make this process so much easier.
You know, that it's interesting that you say that, because that's one of the things we talk about a lot. And, you know, we've done our certified buyer home buyer program, rsrlinks.com/certified buyer. And it starts out with a consultation. And I'm going to submit, Frank, that it's going to be a whole lot easier for the entire process if somebody goes and gets certified, where they've had the consultation, they've submitted their income documentation, maybe they need their tax returns, had their credit reviewed to see what program makes sense for them, and then start that home buying process. Now, Frank, you've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this a long time. And I've yet to see where somebody went and looked at a $2 million house and got excited when they went and saw that $500,000 condo. They got spoiled, right?
Sure.
And so it becomes very difficult. So if you know that you've got a $500,000 budget or $700,000 budget or $800,000, whatever the number is, it's your castle, and you look at the appropriate property and say, that's going to be my castle, my first step, you know, that's going to be more exciting than trying to compare it to something that's, you know, out of your way. Don't you think? Do you see the same things?
Yeah, I mean, I see, you know, the buyers and the millennials that are looking to use these types of programs. They are very popular. They're very much so in the social media, and I think that the program is getting legs a lot. And people want to be their own buyers. They don't want to take all the funds from their family and such like that. And this program gives them that opportunity. And I do think, and I go back to your comments about, you know, being prepared. It is crucial. And having a good agent, and we talked a little bit about the market, having a good agent and a good loan officer to get you through can make these transactions even better, get you the best possible rates. So the partnership with the real estate agents, and they're working a lot behind the scene to make these go smooth for the buyers. So, you know, selecting the right properties. Again, I mentioned condos being popular. So you may need your agent to look and make sure that those condos are warrantable, or, you know.
Oh, you got to back up.
Okay, I'll back up.
Warrantable.
Warrantable, I know.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so you want to make sure that ultimately these loans are saleable, right? So you want to make sure that the condo project is warrantable. And we know that condo projects these days have some issues with insurance and budgets and everything else. So
it's a technical term that you and I understand, that the average person says, well, I'm going to get a home warranty, so doesn't that count?
Right.
It's not the same thing.
No.
Right. So warrantable means will the government agencies, the government sponsored entities, will they take that loan once it's originated by whomever does the origination? And if they won't take it, doesn't mean it's a bad property necessarily. It just means that it doesn't fit some of the guidelines that Fannie, Freddie, or Ginnie have laid out, and that's what makes it a non-warrantable. So, you know, again, that's doing your homework up front.
It is. Yeah. The loan officers there are crucial to helping you coach you along with getting your credit score above that 640 FICO score, getting that debt to, you know, DTI, like he was talking about earlier, under 50%.
Debt to income ratios.
Yep. There you go. And then getting you into the income and property that first is best for you. So yeah, for sure.
Now, I'm going to submit that I do have on my computer access to a report card for nearly every producing real estate agent in the country. So I'm going to suggest that, you know, there are people specialize in a lot of different niches. And again, you've got some people that are excellent people that dealing with luxury properties. There are people that are specialized, you know, both lenders and realtors that specialize in these down payment programs. There are some that specialize in VA programs. So if you want to know about an agent in your neighborhood, I can tell you that, hey, Mr. Jones has done 10 FHA loans in the last 12 months. Well, that might be somebody that makes sense for you for us to introduce you to. If their average loan amount is $3 million, great agent, but it might not be the best fit for you. And, you know, we just want to make sure that you're getting the right fit for, as Frank just mentioned. You know, you want to deal with somebody that understands programs, right? And and I can tell you from doing this since the last century, you know, there's a lot of programs. It's hard to keep on top of all of them.
Yeah. And the nice thing about this one is it's very simple. You know, they're not trying to make it complicated.
I like simple.
And you know, it's efficient. The California program, these loans pump. I mean, they never stop. I almost get a new one every day. and they come in.
So you know what I want you to help me with though, because we didn't even get there on our discussion.
Time, yeah.
The third.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
the third mortgage.
Yeah.
How's that work?
The state just rolled out to a new program in April. It's called the My Access Third. So there's a couple thirds. There's the ZIP, the zero interest percentage third, and the My Access Third. And the My Access Third accrues simple interest at 1%, whereas the ZIP, zero interest percentage, accrues zero interest on that program. So those are just silent third mortgages. So you're getting the down payment assistance, but you're also getting that third mortgage, usually to help with closing costs. But with the new My Access program that just rolled out, you can also use that for down payment assistance too. So like I say, for example, you use 3% funds from the state on the down payment assistance, but you also kicked in some of the My Access program to get it at 95% loan to value, plus a little extra funds for closing costs. You can do that with the new program. And that's just came out. So yeah, those new programs are great.
So there's a lot to these things that one needs to understand, or deal with a loan officer.
Deal with a good loan officer and
right, because that way you don't have to
yes.
you don't have to deal with it. You just say okay. And really, when you think about it, if anybody that can borrow money at 1% would be foolish not to.
Well, yeah, and again,
it sounds like it's too good to be true. What am I missing? What are the downsides of the speed bumps that I need to think about, Frank?
Yeah, I don't know that there is. I think, I do see these loans usually come back in year 3 to 5. And just to your point about the average refinance rate. And so that's completely fine. I mean, it's a matter of money again. So the people that have 40, 50, 60,000, you're probably looking at doing a regular 95% conventional or something like that. But when you do have 10, 15, 20,000, there is no downsize versus paying 4,000 to 5,000 a month in rent if you have the income to get yourself into your first home.
Yeah, especially if you can get that down payment assistance. So if you're looking at an $800,000 condo and I can get 3% assistance, that's $24,000 if my math is correct. And if I'm getting that as a silent second, and what's that, 1% interest, you said?
Simple interest, yeah.
Simple interest. So I've got to pay it back when I refinance, 3 to 5 years. Property is appreciated on the gross amount, not just the loan amount, for whatever real estate is going to appreciate at. Again, historic number of 5% in Southern California. You're looking at a lot of good things to be owning property as opposed to being, just having a rent receipt that you can put up on the wall and say, I've got nice wallpaper. Now, if I've got a Cal HFA program, like we're talking about this morning, and 2 years down the road, I've saved some money, and I go and buy a larger property. I'm not selling this one, but I want to go buy a larger property. Do I have to pay this all back?
You do. They don't, the state is in it to help first-time home buyers. So what the state will ask you to do is refinance that into a non-owner loan and pay off their existing loan and get, cure their funds. So yeah, you won't want to carry rentals with this and turn it into a rental.
Okay. So down the road, you can't do that.
You cannot, no.
Okay. So again, one of those things, I don't want to get anybody in trouble with any kind of mortgage fraud or anything like that. What you do is, again, it all talks about planning.
That's right.
So if you're planning on the strategy that I've told you about for years, is keeping the properties and buying new, is restructure this loan, pay off the second and third, get that new loan as an owner occupied loan, stay there for a year or two so that it's legal, then go and buy the next house you want to and make this one into your rental. So it goes back to what we've said all along: strategy beats rate always. And you're going to want to go and set up that long and short-term strategies that meet your family goals. And we help you do that all along the way. Frank, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you helping out and educating us. I'm sure we'll have more questions. The beauty of it is if you give us a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, I know how to get a hold of Frank. If I don't know the answer, he does. So just give us a call. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.